How's everyone going? Welcome back to another Common 998 Model Railway unboxing video. And well, here we are, we're back to finally doing a video once again. At least it's one of my own fleet for once. We did have the Gopher models C38 last year, which obviously wasn't was a borrowed model, wasn't even mine. But we didn't actually have any of our own models for quite a while. So it's good to finally get back to doing stuff. So just arrived in the mail today. We've got a bit of unpacking to do. So yeah, welcome back everyone. So it's good to finally be back here. Obviously it's not like I haven't been doing videos in here for a while. As I say, we did the Gopher models video, and we also obviously have a lot of our other stuff. As you can probably see, there is a few other things just tucked away in the corner a bit of our other fleet. Things haven't really changed that much, I think, from here. Just the odds and ends of maintenance models that are in for works as usual. A lot of them that aren't mine. For once. But anyways, let's get to unpacking it. We already know what it is. I am currently standing for this video just to make my life easier. It's in one of these recycled bag things, which is, this is a $300 and something locomotive, which eventually will be $350 after the price increases. Kind of worrying that this is how they think that it's safe to pack a model. But maybe because their new boxes are also a bit better than their old boxes. So let's have a look. We've got a little card thing for Hotbox, which is a trains group thing. So that's interesting. I don't really play trains much anymore. I used to, but not really. So it's a cool thing to have. I think they got CLs or something coming out soon. The model has been put in the right way around and it's actually stuck. Because obviously they're put in sideways rather than forward. So give me a sec. I love how they threw the adhesive cover into the package. Cannot for the life of me understand why you would do that. Anyways, at least this time it's not a mess. I've made a mess with those before. Let's go. We have one of Auscision Model's brand new CLF class locomotives. The CLs, to be more accurate. That's the modern generation of the CL units. So we will do our regular unboxing video for it. We'll do our regular unboxing video for it. Let's get into it. To use this Auscision's new box, we'll have a quick look around. As we can see, it's just a standard Auscision box. It's got the CLF on the front, the class leader, which in this box is the class leader, CLF1 in Australian National locomotive product number CLF1. So let's get into it. There's anything else on the packaging that's really needed. I love how they have a Auscision group, which is I don't really know how many other things they have that's not marked as Auscision these days. They used to have Bendigo rail models, of course, but that's dissolved basically, almost. I don't know. There's nothing that really comes on them anymore. So that's unpacking it. We'll do the same as what we did with the G, because I assume this box will follow the same sort of design as the G and the C. So it'll be the new style boxes, which are really nice boxes actually, I admit. And that's why I kind of trust them to actually be able to survive such a trip here. Now, there's a bit of a hassle getting it as well for some reason, because it did come by the mail, and you can see it's been dropped a little as well from that little corner. So we'll see if that hopefully doesn't translate to damage on the model. If it is, then well, Sandowns around the corner. As usual, it's very hard to get them out of the box. I do apologize if it's the fact that it's taken 5 minutes for me just to open a box. I don't know what I'm doing. It really should be quicker, obviously. It's ridiculous how long I seem to take, how long some of these unboxings seem to take. Let's hope I can speed it up. Anyways, have our instruction manuals, regular instruction manuals. We'll put that away for a second and we'll have a look at that in a sec. You have an exploded screen on it. Your features and so on. We'll talk about these features later on. Love how there is that warning for do not use a pulse type controller. removing from the box, removing the body, all your sound things, which for your sound fitter models, which this is a DC model, so it doesn't have any of that. Installing DCC for your non-DCC models, spare parts and warranty. Once again, your warranty is going to be a pain in the neck connected to the warning. I have a problem with this warning because the warning identifies, so this warning identifies an issue with the pulse type controllers. And supposedly extensive testing by the factory in China, which ironically is the same as Rapido does this apparently. Here's the issue I have with this. A lot of controllers these days have pulse PWMs, as they're also known as. Majority of controllers have them. Obviously all train set controllers have them, but even just your standard, even some good quality controllers these days all have them fitted. PWMs are very hard to avoid these days. Honestly, it's cheaper controllers that don't have PWMs. The problem with them is they're resistive control, which means they also don't really. So I do take a bit of annoyance to when they're saying complaining about pulse controllers. It's not a pulse controller issue, it's more of just a bad pulse controller issue. Here's your breakdown sheet. Wow, this is very, very finely printed. Anyways, it has all your standard part numbers as usual. So this has helped me quite a bit in the past, and I'm still thankful for Auscision for doing that. So yeah. Anyways, got our model there. No extra detail parts, so it should be pretty simple just to pull it out. 2 finger holes on it to pull it out. It's got 2 little side things to stop damaging the mirror, which is really nice. And I think I know why that will be the case. Hello. And well, it looks good. So other than the fact that that's fallen off, there's our CLF1. So let's do our close-ups. We'll do our standard thing. We'll also have a look at what the heck has fallen off. I'll have to pack everything away first. So alright, so it's a little odd that we're starting this part of the section on its side. So as usual, we'll complete our 3 main sections. We'll do our first impressions, but this time our first impressions will be merged with the features section. Then we'll do our brief history. Then we'll do our close-up, so we'll zoom in closely. But first things first, I'm going to have a quick look at this component which fell off. So it seems to be one of the side steps, shunter steps it looks like, and it's like sandboxes or something. I'm not 100% sure what's exactly fallen off, but whatever it is, it's fallen off, so we'll have to get that refitted before we proceed on with the video. And I think I want to have a and it actually sits onto, we can see how it's been completely ripped out of its peg on this model, so I assume that maybe, I don't know why that would have honestly fallen off, because this is also the outside of the model, so this is the side that faces out of the box. Another quick thing I want to have a quick chat about is Auscision. How much oil are you putting in your models? This is completely drenched, like fully drenched. I've never seen so much oil on the bottom frame of a locomotive before. I'm assuming the inside should hopefully be clear of oil, seeing that all of it is feels like it's fallen out. Yeah, so that's a bit of an interesting little thing. And it's not only the front wheel, it's also the rear bogie. It's fully coated in oil. So we'll also get that dried off, because I don't want to put this on the ground and just let it pick up just dust. So let's get that cleaned up. All right, so that was rather painless. Anyways, part has been refitted. And let's continue on with our video. I really hope this video isn't too long. So we'll have a quick first look, first impressions of the model. We'll do a quick spin of the model. It's the sort of quality we expect from Auscision. Very, very nice details. So we know what the Auscision's quality is like. So I'll give it to them. It's a very, very nice looking model. Very high detail model. A lot of parts, extra parts fitted. The mirrors are looking good this time. The wipers are looking really nice as well. If you could actually see it, would be nice. I assume it's got directional headlighting. It should have ditch lights as well, because these locomotives were fitted with ditch lights in their lives. Fitted with those knuckle couplers, which are prone to failing, but other than that, it's got marker lights and stuff in it. I expect it to have marker lights. The details look pretty good. I don't see anything really wrong with it at first glance. We may pick those out later, but at the moment it doesn't look like there's anything really that wrong with these engines. A lot of detail, a lot of bogey detail looks good as well. Painting looks very crisp as usual, and that's a nameplate as well on the unit. That's an actual physical nameplate. It's not painted. So let's go and have a quick read through the features that they specified on the instruction manuals. We'll go through the model features rather than the sound features, because obviously this doesn't have any sound. I didn't get the sound model. It has 5-pole screw-barrel motor. I should note that 5-pole screw-barrel motors are not. They are the standard these days, but they're not the newest standard anymore. Twin class 5 wheels, that's the standard on every Auscision model these days. All will pick up standard, metal and plastic standard, handrails, grills standard. Figures in the cab, we'll get a close-up of those later on in the close-up look. Operating ditch lights, marker lights and box lights, fantastic to see. There are micro switches underneath the locomotive, which we'll have a look at later as well. Standard P25 wheels. Scale couplers, which we talked about already. They're DCC ready with 21-pin socket. Brass air horns, not on this model because this is an internally fitted. The horn is actually in the nose on these models, right? Or is it under the pilot? Can't remember. One of those two. But that was part of the original upgrade, and then eventually some of them would have them refitted onto the nose. Especially the SSR ones. It's got Van der Sound enclosure for DCC Sound. Will operate on all type of rail basically, and a minimum radius of 18 inches. So we'll see how that goes. My layout is 18 inches, so pretty normal. I don't know why I keep on reading these features lists. Honestly, it's very normal features list these days. It's pretty much a standard what we expect, because these are all scale models. There's no base range or high range in the Australian market. Not really anyways. I should note that it also says on the instructions that removing the body, you place it onto a flat surface and then hold the fuel tank and pull slightly away from the chassis. I have a weird worry that I have a weird feeling that I'm trying to find out whether or not the body is actually attached to the pilots, because if they are, that means you have to take the couplers out. If they're not, then you don't. Anyways, let's go to the brief history, and then we'll go and have a look, zoom in, take a look at some of its finer details. The CLF class locomotive is a freight locomotive rebuilt from the CL class by Morrison Knudsen for Australian National. Initially 17 were built for the Commonwealth Railways between 1970 and 1972 by Clyde Engineering as the CL class, forming the last streamliner / bulldog nose locomotive class in the world. The CL class were multi-purpose locomotives and were used on a lot of the Commonwealth Railways named trains. All were part of the transfer to Australian National in 1975. In 1992, Morrison Knudsen was awarded the contract to rebuild all of the CLs. 7 locomotives were reclassified as CLF locomotives, whereas the other 10 were reclassified as CLP. The engines were upgraded with refurbished prime movers, traction motors and generators, along with a few modern touches to say the least. CLPs specifically had HEP units fitted. They were passed along to the Australian Southern Railroad in 1997. However, after the split, the class was divided between Genesee and Wyoming and Aurizon, with a few still being operational to this day. CLF1 entered service as CL2 in 1970. She was the first to be rebuilt in 1992, becoming the class leader of the CLF class. Her operating life continued through the years with Australian Southern Railroad, and then with Aurizon, when all of the Aurizon CL classes were retired from operation in 2013. Eventually, CLF1, along with CLF3, CLP9 and CLP12 were sold to SSR, who reactivated the locomotives. CLF1 endured a collision in 2013 and has since been awaiting for its future in the Bendigo workshops. Alright, it's time for the close-ups. It's one of my favourite parts in the video because it means I can see the clearer details. So we're going to start with the front of the unit, so we'll just spin it so that we're head on. We can see that as usual with Auscision models, issues with any of those. We got our bulldog nose. This is a bulldog nose unit, as we said in the history. This was one of the pretty much the last streamlined unit, bulldog unit to be built in the world, in terms of classification. So we've got the AN logo on the front, very crisply painted. We can see that there is very little overspray on the lining. We can see there is actually a tiny bit of overspray this time from the from a masking job issue, it looks like, or tampo issue, where this is slightly not 100% straight, but other than that, it's pretty decent. You can see we got the double beam headlight, and this time it is straight, which is nice. Got the two double bladed wipers in the cab for the cab, which is nice, and they're proper wiper blades as well. We can see we got the two cab mates in there. We got the MU ports. Surprising they didn't cover the MU ports on these engines actually, because especially knowing that AN Commonwealth Railways did used to have covered ports on the GMs especially. Anyways, you got your ditch lights. I'm pretty sure on this model it is just they will just stay on, assuming you have it switched on, of course. And you got a few piping details on the bottom for your different air reservoirs and so forth, which is really nice. Alright, I gotta quickly jump into our close look of this model. With having a read online and having a look at some real photos, made a sudden realization that there is a minor inaccuracy with this model. And if you can't see what I'm talking about the HEP sockets, which are on the pilot of the unit. These locomotives weren't fitted with HEP units. The CLPs were, and the CLPs are supposed to have these sockets. So it looks like they're just using the same pilot between the CLFs and the CLPs, even though the CLFs would never had those fitted. Back to the rest of the video. Here's your scale coupler as well. Moving slightly side on, we get more of the profiling of the nose. We can see we've also got the weird little hump thing on the roof. I can't 100% remember what that was for. That's not original with the CLs. That's a CLF modification, but they've actually got the shape of that pretty nicely. The nose's shape is actually pretty decent. I'm not 100% sure how fully accurate though. I think it does look better than the B-class noses, which are somewhat inaccurate, but we can see there are mold lines on the model right there. Just going straight up the model with this, we can tell the molding section there. So interesting for such a new model to have such deep molding lines. Other than that, it's not too bad at all. We've got a little thing here that I can't actually see. And then again, the painting, over here, all the paintwork looks really, really nice and really, really clean. You got a door. Those are plastic handrails going up and down the side of the door, I'm pretty sure. Then you also got steps up the rather nice looking bogies. They're looking actually pretty good quality bogies and very high detail bogies. You've got your nameplate sitting a wallet. I should know how to pronounce that, but I don't. Sorry about that. CLF1 was named this before being renamed to another name with SSR. So it's a CLF1X as well as what sandbox. I'm pretty sure those are for the sandboxes, that massive cap on the side. And we're coming towards our fuel tank. We've also got our wind portholes on the unit, both on the roof and on the side of the unit. Well, now on the long end of the unit. You can see we've also got a whole lot of radiators on the top, which is pretty good. They look in good condition as well. So coming on to the long end of the unit, we can see it's just a striking yellow. Not really much here. There's an MU cable with the model though, which is nice. Obviously these engines ran quite a lot in MU mode. Also, you can see the step has been replaced on this end, has been refitted, so don't think it's been too bad of a job. So if I do say so myself, it's definitely straight at least. But not too bad on the long end. It's all pretty much the same as the front end. It's got all the details and all the pipe work and all that sort of thing. A lot of riveting on the side of the unit. The engines were built in panels, as we can see. So once again, very, very clean look on this side as well. A lot of riveting. The grills are good, you can see straight through them, they're nice and clear, there's nothing in the way. Now we're heading towards the front end of the unit with an extra porthole on the front as well. Onto the driver's cabin, seeing the profile of the cab from this end. I think it may have been the AC on the top, and you also can see the two antennas fitted to the roof. And now we're back onto the front of the unit. We can see there's also some handrails on the nose. Those handrails on the nose are metal. Back to the front of the unit. So not too bad at all. Very, very nice detailed model, as we expect from the Australian market. Admittedly, Auscision has done a very good job on their details. Just whether or not the models managed to get here in one piece. So we need to go have a look at those switches. Just having a quick look underneath the model, we can see that it uses the rather standard design of you have to pop the outer frame out and then you can unclip it, so you can take the body to the bottom frame for lubrication. So pretty standard. We can also see the wheels have been slightly ran this time, so it looks like they're actually running them in the factory this time, which is rather interesting. Anyways, you got the lighting switches you can see there. For your different lighting controls, all set to the on position, so we'll get to see all the lights hopefully running. I should also note the model is got a decent weight. It's definitely not a lightweight model, which is really good. You'll like some weight for these models. You don't want it to be too light, otherwise they can't haul anything, as long as the mechanism can handle it. I should also note that for the DCC locomotives, this panel doesn't actually exist. It's all internally controlled, obviously, because you can control it from the decoder. Alright, let's have it over to the layout. Alright, welcome back to the layout. It's been a while since we've actually had a video on this channel anyways, on the layout, so good to be back. Because of course, our last video last year was the N gauge, so it was on the small layout. Anyway, got our CLF right here, which popped it to the side. It's just a bit easier to do that because the camera now sits on a tripod rather than sit on that mini thing that I used to do. It was nice on the mini one though, because it was got closer, but let's pop it on, put it onto the... Well, at the moment it looks like the inner, but it's actually technically the outer track. We will be running it backwards to the operation of the player, but of course we're currently, as usual, running single track because I pulled out the other controller for video purposes, which ironically is this thing, and it probably won't go back in as the main controller after either, so we'll see why in the future. Anyways, let's get it moving. That's an 18-inch corner behind it, so we'll actually roll it over that just to kind of see if it handles it. Very quiet, isn't it? Very, very nice little motor. Got the two red lights when you're going backwards. Let's go over that. Pretty good. It's made it over the 18-inch, so. And we can see all the working headlights at this point, so yeah, not too bad at all. Very nice and quiet as we expect from the Auscision models. From the mechanisms are pretty decent in a massive quotation marks, because thanks to the A-class I kind of question that sometimes. Anyways, let's get it moving. 30 minutes in each way. We'll do a full running in for this model. We'll get a few running shots. We'll get about 4 to 5 shots in the forward direction, about 3 to 4 shots in the reverse direction. Sort together some sort of train for it, because obviously I don't do Australian National much. The main purpose of this engine was to actually run eventually in the future with this engine, my Australin's DL. But the other problem with the DL is it's failed at the moment, so that's not going to help us in any way. Let's get it moving. For reference, that is 50% on the controller with the variable resistor controller, the Gauge Master Combi. Alright, that should suffice our running in. Not too bad. Hasn't really changed that much from when it started, other than the controller's not too warm, which is nice. The Gauge Master combis do have a slight, do get warm after a lot of usage, and it's usually based on the resistance of the engine, and the engine running for pretty much an hour straight. The controller's still pretty cool, and it is evening in summer, so it's not like it's cool. Model itself, it's not too bad, so pretty happy with it. We'll go and grab a train for it to run. As I say, it'll probably be some of the V-line boxcars and maybe some of the container wagons, because I obviously don't have any much national stock. Let's get it set up, and then we'll get it back on, and then we'll have a chat just before we start the consist running part. Right, so we've got a train loaded on. As I say, it's just a mixture of V-line box vans, VR, that's technically VR, and a few container wagons that I had just lying around. So 3 of my own. This was in full maintenance and hasn't been picked up yet, so I chucked it on. Just some generic train that this could run with, I guess. It would have been a bit easy to do with the GM, I admit, because the GMs did technically run with V-line stuff. The CLs didn't really. Because the GMs did spend a bit of time working with on the Western Main Line, which did hold a few of the Victorian rolling stock. It's a good, it's definitely hauled well, taking this lot out here. So it's and this is a single engine, so I'm not sure how much more I have to put onto it until I need to actually get a second engine onto the train. But let's get it moving around. We'll get a few shots moving around, and then we'll come into a bit of a conclusion on what we think about the brand new Auscision Model CL. Alright, well I think that's probably enough of a test run. We've seen quite a decent amount of running for it, so let's go on to our closing thoughts, or that's what we're going to call it anyways. So what does everyone think? Not bad of a model, eh? It's ran really well. It's nice and quiet, very nice mechanism. Sounds like a nice mechanism anyways, which is I guess what we should kind of expect by now. Decision hasn't really changed their motors in quite a while, it seems. It's the G's, the C's. But it definitely sounds a lot more powerful than something like the X's anyways. Looks good, very, very nice. The model is very nicely detailed. Unfortunate for that little bit of a detailing issue, as we pointed out during the close look, towards the end of the close look, with the incorrect detailing. But other than that, it's not a bad model at all. Details are there, even like having an etched nameplate instead of having just a painted nameplate, which is something that one of the British manufacturers would probably do. The model looks good. Performance is good. Packaging is pretty nice. As we're pretty used to, the new packaging is very, very nice. I do love the new packaging that Auscision have brought out. However, does seem like these models were quite heavily oiled up. It is unfortunate we had to clean it before it had to be used, and unfortunate that the little bit of detail fell off, but there's no harm done because it has been since been refitted. At least the part was there rather than being missing. Auscision has done good to at least fix up the box issue in mashing the mirrors, so at least that is a nice little upgrade on the boxes. And yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything else I can really say about it. I think that's really all I can say personally about it, since it's still early days for the model for me anyways. I think someone else could probably do a better load test than I can, because obviously this layout doesn't really find it feasible to do any form of load testing, especially since I don't have enough rolling stock in the first place. However, it does allow us to test it on short, being capable of doing 18-inch corners, which it definitely can, and the fact that it handles the uphill section pretty well. Nice and powerful for the uphill section, as we do know some models do stall in our videos. Anyways, with that, I'm rather happy with that model. Very nice addition to the collection. Something a little bit different for the collection, because obviously I don't do much Australian National. But yeah. What does everyone else think? I hope everyone has enjoyed joining us for this unboxing video of Auscision's brand new CLF model. Will you be looking to get one? Unfortunately, this model has also now been sold out from Auscision itself, so if there is any still available, get in quick. I think the Sound model is still available though, it's just the regular DC version. But yeah, are you planning to get any CLF, CLP models? What's your thoughts on the models? Yeah, you have any issues, or are they as gorgeous as this one is? Be sure to have let's make a conversation in the comments below. And we'll let the model depart off to end off this video. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all will join us next time for whatever. We may do another video, hopefully sooner rather than later. There will definitely be a few more Model Rail exhibition videos. Be sure to stay tuned for more videos anyway, so we'll catch you all very soon.